Okay, good afternoon. It is April 22nd, 2025. I wanted to do an updated video. I've talked about this in the past. I've talked about just some advantages and disadvantages of vacuum cleaners, specifically with bagged versus bagless vacuum cleaners. Now, bagless vacuum cleaners have become very, very popular over the years, and I mean, I understand the idea sounds good, but I'm going to tell you my honest opinion. I don't think that bagless vacuums are all they're cracked up to be. Specifically with just the simplicity of a bagged vacuum cleaner. I have had both. I have had, I have had probably 6 different bagless vacuum cleaners over my lifetime. And I am somebody who works with vacuum cleaners all the time. They're my hobby, they're my passion. I do a lot of research, and I've had a lot of experience with a lot of machines. Now, one thing that I will say is there are advantages and disadvantages to both bagged and bagless vacuum cleaners. But the cons generally outweigh the pros when it comes to bagless vacuum cleaners. And the reason why is they're just higher maintenance. They just are. When you go to empty them, there's a lot more involved. You gotta make sure you clean them out good. And they're messy. And it's pretty gross when you think about it. You pick up all that junk off your floors and stuff, and then you redeposit it, in the trash, and then there's fine dust and stuff that gets disturbed and, kicked back up into the air. If air quality is a concern for you, bagged is certainly the way to go. Now, I hear a lot of people say, oh, well, the bags are just too expensive. I don't want to constantly have to buy bags. Well, to tell you the truth, buying bags is not as often as you might think. Okay? It depends on your household, and it depends on the size of the machine. But, this machine that you're looking at in front of you, this one is probably, because I have multiple vacuum cleaners, okay? This one in particular, it's probably one of my most used machines. And even with that, I can get usually 4 to 6 months out of a bag at least. Now, in my house, we're a family of 4 people, no pets. But even when we did have a pet, we did have a small beagle for many, many years. Even when we did have that one dog, it still stretched quite far. So, and honestly, you can get a lot more out of a bag than you can with a bagless vacuum cleaner. A bagless vacuum cleaner, you fill it up about halfway, and then it's time to empty it. A bag, you can pack it like a sack of flour. You can really fill every square inch of that bag if you wanted to. And they can be very firm bricks when you pull them out, and you just toss them in the trash, and you're good to go. Pop a new bag in, and you're good to go. Now, when it comes to bags, I am going to show you something. When it comes to bags, now, when you're buying a bagged vacuum cleaner, this is what I recommend. Buy a bagged vacuum cleaner that's been around for a very, very long time. Buy one that the bags have been around for a very long time. This example that you see in front of you is a Hoover wind tunnel. These machines have been around since the late 90s. Okay? Now, they're not making this particular example anymore. This one's about 15 years old. Still runs beautifully, by the way. These were honestly some of the best Hoovers ever built. As far as, a newer Hoover. But when it comes to bags, here's what I recommend. If you're concerned about bags, like I said, get a machine that takes common bags. This machine in front of you, as do most of your standard Hoover bagged vacuum cleaners, with a few exceptions, but those are more like specialty types. If you just get a Hoover wind tunnel bagged, okay, look for the Hoover wind tunnel bagged vacuum cleaners. They're still making them. They're different in design to this, but they're still pretty much the same thing. In terms of like what bags they use, those take the Hoover style Y bags. The Hoover style Y bags have been around for a long time, and those bags are everywhere. You can find them all over the place. And I can get 6 of those bags for $15, and I only have to buy them once every few years. I don't have to buy them every year. Now, you may have to buy them every year depending upon your household, but even at that, $15 a year, come on, really? Is that all that much money to ask? And what I do recommend is, when you buy bags, buy 2 packs. As soon as you open the second pack, reorder another pack and have it shipped to your house as a backup. Brand new, sealed, and everything. That way you never have to run out. And that's one thing that I hear a lot. It's like, oh, but I'm worried about running out of bags. Well, if you stay on top of it, if you know, okay, I just opened the second pack and pulled the bag out of it, get another one right away. Don't put it off. Even if you get the cheap bags from Walmart, what are they, $5, $10? Just get another 3-pack of bags and just have it ready. It's really that simple. So, but I want to show you something about this. Now, a lot of people say that, it's harder to maintain a bag vacuum cleaner. I've not noticed that to be the case. In my experience with having both, I have had a lot more maintenance with a bagless vacuum cleaner. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I've had a lot more maintenance with a bagless vacuum cleaner. I want you to look at this. This is only full up to here. You have all this space. Now the inlet is about here, but you can still fill it. And it can just be a block. And what you do is you reach back here and you make sure that you grab onto the cardboard collar and just twist it a little bit, and it should come off. Now, I do write the date of when I install a bag. As you can see, this one's been in here since December. It's now April, almost May. I still have a lot of room in here. Now, this contains it because it's not disturbing it. Now, if you want to, you can put some tape over this hole to make sure you don't disturb it. That's what I try to do. And no matter what style you have, there's always going to be a tiny bit that gets out. But it's less with a bagged vacuum cleaner. Now I want to show you another thing. Filters. Filters generally stay cleaner. Now this has just a little bit of debris on it, but if this was a bagless vacuum cleaner, this would have a thick, dark gray layer over it. So that's one thing to keep in mind and be aware of, is the bag is the primary filter that stops most of the debris. I would say 99% of the stuff that you're picking up is stopped by the bag. And another thing I want to mention is, I want to ask you this question. Don't you have trash cans at home? I would assume yes. Everybody's got trash cans at home. Do you put bags in them? Yeah, of course. You put liners in them to keep the trash can clean and stuff. Well, why are you doing that if bagless is so good? Do you think that the trash can is going to be pretty nasty and gross? Well, it's the same thing with a vacuum cleaner. That container is going to hold on to every little bit of dirt that there is. It just is. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still some fine stuff in here, but it's just a small layer, and you can just wipe it out with a cloth. The containers get really nasty. And honestly, in my opinion, the bagless vacuum cleaners tend to hold on to smells a lot more. They tend to hold on to smells, and it's harder to get the odor out. And another thing I want to mention is the bag protects the motor. That's one thing that I want to mention. The bag protects the motor more than you will ever realize. Because the bag doesn't exist in a bagless vacuum cleaner, you're heavily relying on a small filter to capture and stop everything. And it often bypasses the filter. Um, you know, not always, but often it does. And the rule of thumb is the more motor protection you have, the longer the motor's going to last. Underneath this filter was perfectly clean, and I'm sure you saw some of that. That is good. You want to keep as much dirt and dust out of the motor as you possibly can. And with these thick bags, that's going to stop a lot of that. And I want to also mention something. If your time is worth anything, spending time cleaning out a bagless vacuum cleaner is just more work than necessary. I mean, in my opinion, why would you spend all your time and energy and effort vacuuming your house only to turn around and have to clean it every single time, or spend like 45 minutes cleaning stuff out? It doesn't make sense. And generally, the bagged vacuum cleaners are going to last longer. I'm not saying that bagless vacuum cleaners don't last. It depends on how well you maintain them. I've seen bagless vacuum cleaners that are 15 years old, 15, 20 years old, and they're fine. But generally, bagless vacuum cleaners are cheaper in the manufacturing process. They tend to break easier. The containers, the seals can wear out and break, and those are harder to replace. And, I mean, there's just more to go wrong. And a bagged vacuum cleaner, I mean, especially if you're making a major investment in a vacuum cleaner, and I'm talking like $300, $400, $500, $600, it just makes more sense to buy a bagged unit. Because if you're spending that kind of money, you want that to last as long as possible. And a bagged vacuum cleaner is just going to guarantee that more than a bagless vacuum cleaner would. And so that's just some reasons why I recommend bagged vacuum cleaners more. I have used both. Personally, in my home, I mean, I can use a bagless vacuum cleaner if I have to, but personally, I don't prefer them. They just, again, if they get clogged up or something, then you have to stop, clean them out. Most of the time, if these end up having an issue, you just pull out the bag, you throw it in the trash, and you put a fresh bag in. Again, think about your kitchen trash can. You pull that stuff out and throw it away, and then put a fresh bag in. It keeps the trash can cleaner, all of that. It's the same thing. Think about your furnace filter too. You pull your furnace filter out, you throw it out, and you put a fresh filter in, and you're good to go. Now, I know some people have concerns about environmental impact and all this stuff, but I'm going to tell you one thing right now. Would you rather be throwing away a bag twice a year into a landfill, or would you rather be throwing a bagless hunk of plastic into a landfill every 10 years? Like, would you rather have a bag that's just a little bit of material going into a landfill every 6 months, but that vacuum cleaner stays out of the landfill because it lasts you 30 years? Or would you rather have bagless vacuum cleaners that you might get 10 years out of, but eventually all the plastics for the dirt cup are going to start breaking, all the clips are going to start breaking off, and it's stinky, it's hard to clean out, the seals wear out and stuff. I just want you to think about that. And again, think about the trash can example. Why do you buy trash bags if bagless saves you money? It's because it's dirty, it's filthy, it's gross. And like I said, if you care about air quality, that alone is enough to cause for some concern. Bags is just going to keep more out of the air in general. It just is. And when we take out that bag, we throw it away, we start fresh, 100% performance like new again. And I want you to also think about this. In the commercial cleaning industry, now I've seen bagless in commercial cleaning industries, but I think that's just a mistake. I think you're just asking for trouble. If you are cleaning multiple rooms and a lot of area, like if you're a housekeeper at a hotel, for example, you're cleaning multiple rooms and stuff, you don't have time to stop and clean out a bagless vacuum cleaner if it slows down. What you need is a bag that will last multiple rooms, and if it does need to be changed, you have a spare bag with you, and you pull it out, you seal it up, you throw it in the trash, and then you pop a new bag in, and you keep going. There's a reason why the commercial cleaning industry typically frowns upon bagless vacuum cleaners. There is a reason, because it is not efficient, it does not help their job go any smoother, it just is a major inconvenience. There's more inconvenience in a bagless vacuum cleaner, in my opinion, than there is convenience. And quite frankly, I am not worried at all, in the least, about environmental impacts of bags. I'm sorry, I'm just not. So, but anyway, I hope that was informative, and I hope you learned something. And really, the choice is yours. You can choose either one. I'm not telling you which way to go, but I'm just sharing my experience and my opinions, because I have worked with vacuum cleaners consistently for the last 15 or so years. So I've had experience with just about everything you can imagine, and I've seen some of the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so I just speak from experience, but you are absolutely within your right to have your own opinion if you disagree with me. So anyway, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.